Solid, liquid, gas. Wait, then what's
superheat that goes beyond a level even possibly visible, but creating visibility, as it is the state of light, essentially.
Huh. Wait, so why do we call the fluid that holds our blood cells plasma?
I actually don't know. Ancient Gothic is an odd language. It and several others are essentially the babies of two other languages, sometimes inbreeding together and into one language as well.
I don't like how accurate that is, but at least you're not like those morons that say, English is just 3 languages in a trench coat, forgetting that they use similar, if not the same words, often originating from English or more than likely Latin.
In your original timeline, your empire managed to establish a universal language. I'm of the opinion that you might have actually been the start of Gothic as a universal language. Why are you looking into plasma anyway?
Take a simple guess, Trazen.
I don't know. A video about space marine protoplasm? Oh, that's probably the origin of the biological plasma.
Actually, that makes sense, but what do you mean you don't know why I'm asking about the physical matter of plasma in the 41st millennium? What sort of weapon is used that blows up with every single one rolled, but now only deals 1 mortal damage?
Kool-Aid Man, as you call it?
You're joking, right?
My kind use antimatter weapons. You think I know what your kind utilizes?
You've gotten apes with sticks from the past. Hell, you probably own some proto-tau. But I want to talk about plasma weapons. With the tabletop game changing how plasma works to make them kind of impossible to fail at using, I think now is a very good time to discuss them. Plasma weapons are used by the Imperium, Chaos, some Eldar, Tau, Votann, and apparently even Tyranids have a version of plasma weapons? I don't know how, and I'll admit we're going to be sticking with the Imperial plasma weapons here. Given I'm not a full page in my script at this point, we'll see what else we can go into. I know my melee weapons video had some alien weapons, but I can't see the future despite being in the future. The smallest of the plasma weapons used by the Imperium soldiers is probably the plasma pistol, which is said to essentially be a small star in your palm. A soldier will often avoid using the overcharge system on these because they're essentially a large grenade in your hand, leading to not just the wielder being harmed. Each shot from a plasma pistol is about as powerful as your standard plasma gun, though I'm seeing some reports saying it's as destructive as a heavy plasma gun. This has some variant versions, one of which being the Barrage plasma pistol, which is only used in the Jericho Reach by the Death Watch, and only a few among them are permitted to use them because they're so few and far between. Plasma torches are different than most other plasma weapons, as there aren't even weapons really, but a tool. We have plasma lighters in my time, and that's essentially what these are, only much larger and intended for cutting through blast doors and armor as thick as a knight's cheeks. Plasma grenades are also used only by the Death Watch, but these grenades are essentially intentional overcharged plasma weapons. Pull the pin or press the release, throw, and it'll overcharge, overheat, and overcook. Essentially, a plasma grenade is just throwing a literal star at your target. Don't cook the grenade or you'll get cooked. The plasma gun is your standard plasma weapon, and with the same variations as the plasma pistol. Supposedly, the gun and the pistol are similar power, but the rifle version, the gun, is actually easier to aim because of the shoulder stock. I can actually agree with that. The barrage version of this weapon is like the pistol and only used by Jericho Reach Deathwatch. In the case of both barrage weapons, they're essentially a rapid fire instead of overcharge, preventing self-destruction but can still overheat. Now, the plasma gun is usually only given to the higher end of the faction in question. For example, there's at most one guy in a unit of the Imperial Guard that gets a plasma gun, because nobody wants the entire squad to go away because of one bad overcharge. The guy given the gun is often taught to only overcharge when there's no other option. Life or death, and you don't want the Tyrannid to get your bio ass. A phased plasma fusel is a well since phased out weapon from the Horus Heresy era, only used by the Thalax cohorts of the Mechanicum. The word fusel implies it's essentially a sniper weapon, given a few other weapon names, but this is actually a faster plasma gun with a weaker blast. Not full auto, but a faster trigger. Now, the Dark Angels are very well known for their love of plasma, and of course they'd have some exclusive kinds. The Plasma Talons are the Dark Angels' get up close sort of weapons, and that's their personal plasma punishers, meant for their Raven Wing Black Knights, loving to use these on their bikes, replacing the normal bolt guns with these guns. Yeah, they're guns, not claws. I was disappointed too when I found that out. Now, the Plasma Blaster is also a past tense weapon used by the Terminators in Cataphracti armor during the Heresy. They're essentially the Talons, but bigger, with 2 barrels. Of course, we all know the Plasma Cannon. I don't need to explain what this super tank breaker is. It is both a plasma weapon and a flamethrower in the same blast, throwing pure heat and gas in one shot that ignites the gas and expands. The Dark Angels also have something called the Plasma Storm Battery. What is this? It looks like a mounted weapon that auto-fires in rapid fire, but can overcharge to a point at a slower fire rate. I don't know what it's attached to, I just know it's attached to something. The Executioner Plasma Destroyer is a smaller version of the tank gun, the Executioner Plasma Cannon, which is a bigger version of the normal plasma cannon. I don't need more details. But my personal favorite is the Death Strike missile. You know what this does? Like your grenade, it says, "You see that thing over there? I don't want to." And launches a star at your target. Of course, the Plasma Blast Gun is the Titan-mounted plasma, oftentimes on the Reaver and Warhound class Titans, though the Warlord Titans have it on their head back things. The Plasma Destructor is the largest of the moving plasmas used on Warlord and Imperator Titans, with the Imperators also having Plasma Annihilators. Now, I want to point out that the list I'm going through isn't even halfway through the Imperial weapons. The number of plasma weapons in the Imperium of Mankind might actually outnumber the amount of bolt weapons. Will I do a part 2 of this? I honestly doubt it. Probably not. I do not like plasmas, as my luck is horrible. But at this point on the tabletop game, I don't really need to worry about it because they no longer instantly kill, just deal 1 mortal damage. That'll still take out a single guardsman, but it's no longer taking out a Space Marine. It does 3 damage to vehicles and monsters, but that's still nothing. May as well just always overcharge now. But that's enough about the weapon I hate Wait! I need to look at the Tyrannid plasmas real quick. Almost forgot about that. Let's see. Bioplasma. Some Carnifexes will get these, and it'll shoot an organism that essentially overheats while releasing an enzyme acid while inside the target. Gross. But neat! Shove off.